Welcome to Christ Notes, and thanks for logging on. We're back into 1 Corinthians today, chapter 3. We're starting verse 18 and see how far we get. So, our Father has it written, he says, "Let no person deceive himself. If anyone among you supposes that he is wise in this age, let him become a fool. Let him discard his worldly discernment and recognize himself as dull, stupid, and foolish, without true learning and scholarship, that he may become truly wise." I am guilty of this. I think more than any other thing that really bugs me, this bugs me about myself, is that I trust in the world way too much. I think that God has to move through us in worldly ways. When Jesus was in the wilderness, the disciples thought that way. There was thousands of people there. They had been there 3 days. They were growing hungry. And Jesus said, "I want you to feed them." Their thought process was, hey, well, let's get some money, go into the city and buy some food. But even then, we don't think we have enough money to buy enough for all these people. Jesus' answer was, let's take some table scraps. Let's miraculously feed the multitude. And that's what our Father really needs to author and finish our faith with, is that the glorious church without spot, wrinkle, or blemish that he's coming back for will not be part of the world. We will be in the world, but we will not be of the world. That's where our Father needs to lead us. That's where he needs to take us. Excuse me. Because we think, I'm sick. Father, use the medicine to heal me. Use the doctor to help me. When Jesus just walked up to me, he says, be whole. So we think that we need worldly things, and we really don't. We don't need anything that the world has to offer. The wisdom of the world says you can work hard, you can save, and then you'll be able to leave an inheritance to your children's children. God says, if you have 2 coats, I want you to give one away. If they ask you to walk a mile, I want you to walk 2 miles. If your enemy's hungry, you feed him. All this stuff that we think doesn't make any sense, God says to do. So everything that we think in the world is contrary to God. And the Bible actually tells us, it says to be carnally minded is death. It's enmity. It's against God. And the Bible tells us to confess our faults one to another. And I'm going to confess my faults to everyone here, that I trust way too much in the world. And our Father has to author and finish the faith within me, as I'm sure he does with a lot of us, that we don't need to look to the world. We walk by faith. We don't walk by sight. And so the scriptures that we're reading here, that's what will bring us faith. That's what will bring us the truth. It's the truth that sets us free. And the worldly wisdom, it doesn't make any sense at all. And that's what we need to come to grips with. So don't look to your job. Don't look to your doctor. Don't look to an insurance company. Don't look to your bank accounts. Don't look to your education. All that stuff is foolishness. All that stuff doesn't make any sense to God. God says, I want you to discard those things. I want you to completely trust in me. And he'll take us on a ride that we can't even begin to imagine. He'll do things for us that we can't think, pray, or even believe for. And that's the one thing with church today that I have a lot of problem with church. They tell us that we have to believe first so that then God can do something in our lives. And that's just not the truth. That's foolishness. That's the way the world works. We have to give money first. We have to tithe. We have to offer so then God can do something to us. That's foolishness. That's the way the world works. You give to get. The Bible tells us that our Father will provide for us, and he will cause us to walk in his statutes and keep his judgments and do them. So the wisdom of God says we have to look to him for everything. He has to be the one doing it all. He's not our co-pilot. He's the pilot, and we are one with the pilot. So there's no co about it. We're all one. There's no division between us and God. And so don't look to the world for anything. Don't think that if you get born again, a lot of us go to churches, and when we get in church, the first thing they want to do is they want to send us into classes. Spend some time with your Father. Let him teach you. We don't need that any man teach us. The Bible tells us that we have an unction from the Holy One, and we know all things, and we need not that anybody teach us. We can have a one-on-one relationship with our Father. Now, that doesn't mean we don't fellowship with each other. It just means that the true learning, the true education comes from God, from our Father. And so the basic thing here is, we've seen this now 4 times in Corinthians. Don't look to the world for anything. The world is foolishness to our Father. Look to the crazy things that God says, and then you'll have life, and you'll have it abundantly. But there's no condemnation here, because it's got to be our Father authoring and finish our faith so that we can. Hope this helped you. Be blessed. In Jesus' name, you will be blessed.